Alright everyone, welcome back to some more of The Great Ace Attorney 2. So it looks like we're still continuing on from where we last left off, which is pretty much on trial in order to try and clear out the name of Mr. Professor Hairbrain. So we're going to continue on from there, guys, and see how it goes. So I hope you all continue to enjoy watching, and let's keep it going. Alright guys, and we are back. 23rd of October, 10:44 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Mr. Naruhodo! What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Sorry about that. But you promised me! You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me! Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? But if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. No! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject, what about Barrack? He's being awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being! Oh, but no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you? Yes. What? The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved? I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. Alright, Professor, I understand. Counsel Defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to begin in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Trying to prove our boy's innocence, man. That's the name of the game. (23rd of October, 11 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Here we go again, guys. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. So, Lord Van Zieks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes. Indeed they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect. A detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration of the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Oh my gosh, this guy, and who is this? Oh, and her? Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. My name is Balthazar Lune. Lune or Lune? I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimental stage. My name is Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Ormstein. Oh my god, I am butchering that. I'm so sorry, guys. From here on in, I'm just calling him Willem. Or Ormstein. I've come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. He gets a balloon. I love it. I'm very rich. Clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Erlach Sholmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. Gina. Again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in the balloon actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above. You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet? About 18 meters then? Thank you for your introductions. Now, you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage. Alright, here we go. The view from 60 feet up. It was an incidente terribile. Wow, okay. It was an incidente terribile. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky besides us. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. A most extraordinary collective account, I must say. Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I have not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared to, at a site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower. I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. Another balloon? What happened to his other one? I still have lots of money. I love this kid. Precisely, who is this curious infant? I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition. Ja, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip viz my elementary school. Viz. We will have the benefit of the child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? When I remove my mask, this is what I look like. Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure. Ja, everybody says so. Great disguise then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was Mr. Asmin, on the stage could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense cross-examination now, please. Yes, my lord. Alright, here we go. It was an incidente terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second another bang in the sky besides us. That second bang is iffy. Hold it! So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yep, isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, huh? I'm telling you, Otto, being a lawyer is a mug game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything. We saw everything, because we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into the cage and that dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared just like that. You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in my ear. I looked around, and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before. Alright, guy. What are you up to?
Excuse me!
Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ? My teacher at the elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name. Ah, yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottlieb Sigismund Ormstein. Sigismund? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. Just the 4 names then? The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remarks, perhaps? Oi, get it right, Otto. It's Inspector Lestrade. Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? That is not what I saw. Oh! Ja, there was a second explosion and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure, which is what I said, innit? 1 minute there was nothing there, the next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school says that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? You what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the consult. I will cry and scream. God, it's so hard. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Just playing the bleeding royalty card, are ya? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of the cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia. It was not the sky that exploded, it was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time. The cage fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the Crystal Tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. what if it was actually some kind of switch around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching to panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. It was an incident terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Hold on a second. Hold on. There was something I had here. There you go. Rubber. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, let's present this bad boy. Objection! Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. Si, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosiones, it would have been terrible. Terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. I think it may be... Si, part of a balloon, a burnt piece of fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope? Pardon, that is the large round part of a balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want to rip it when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation station. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Lune, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, having just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience, how awful! Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time anyway.
Objection!
Here we go. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but the explosion on the stage. After the explosion on the stage. The point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon, causing the balloon to explode. Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This, I cannot accept. Why not, Mr. Lune? You are suggesting that I am a liar. That person died in a balloon incidente. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Lune. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Lune is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non-possible. Possible? I don't know anymore, guys. You're saying it's impossible? Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Aye! Objection! But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Lune. I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Ah. Grazie, my lord. Grazie. There you go. As I said, Balthazar Lune is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe. But you can't get away with the fact that a burnt up old bit of cloth was found in the sea in Kenya. The coppers at the yard reckon it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. This stupid Ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you. Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is a very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war. They reconciled real quick. What happened to an all-out war? Mr. Lune certainly doesn't appear to be lying. But that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses. Alright, my go again. As I said, Balthazar Luna is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that I burnt up the cloth. Copper at the yard, vacuum was probably debris thrown in the cage. This stupid Ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. Hold it! Interesting. You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date, unfortunately, as I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been from an earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Si, exactamente, as the senor says, it is not from one of my balloons.
What?
Clearly, this Ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. How about we find out what he has to say first?
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gotthard Zingis Ormstein. Oh my god. I'm always gonna complain about that name. It was on the tip of my tongue. Ja! Something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all of Bohemia. You can speak as bad language. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, Ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, huh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishment. Evidence? What is this evidence? To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim. Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here. Good gracious! What? I had not been in a balloon for a while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs. Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon. And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that? Ja! One picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a ride in the balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course! And then you will see. You will see that I'm not lying. That I really did see a green balloon. Because that's what's really important right now. Ooh. Nice photo. Well, I see you're all too shocked to speak. It's black and white, but okay. Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man. Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. That is one very Bohemian sounding cry. Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence. Alright, we got that now. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take the photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When I pressed this shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind brushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you picked up. As I thought, Mr. Lunet's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Lunet vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. As I said, Batsa Lunet is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe. Let me check my thing here. Sketch. Photo of the victim. Photograph of balloon. Wait, hold on, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try something.
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else, something crucially important. What? It shows that the picture balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Ah, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See! They are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the picture balloon isn't one of them, so when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. I know nothing! Niente! I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Objection!
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Lunet's patch without him realizing. See! The competition trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage. This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left, them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all, it was bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case. Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Really? Have we really got the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There's more.
Objection!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue. What's that? A vital clue?
Objection!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The balloon's owner, the balloon's color, the cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Ja! That's right, Ja! It was not my fault! Evidently. Because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon being filled with flammable hydrogen instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to end the video here for today. I know we're up to that exciting point in this game, in this trial, but I will continue it in the next one, guys. So thank you all for watching.